these high ass boots on, and I tripped the curb.
Oh no!
And I was fucked up. And my friend, the dude I was talking to, had left me.
Oh dang,
that's not a friend.
Yeah, for some other little raggedy girl we saw at the mall. But okay,
it's the raggities for me.
That was 11 years ago.
Thank God for growth, huh?
Right. I was just gonna say that growth is a beautiful thing.
How do I get mine?
So,
Well,
Well, I'm nervous.
why are you nervous?
I don't know.
What you nervous for? That's what y'all you know, your grandma be real old. What you nervous for?
Why you nervous?
Don't worry, I ain't gonna be on here being mannish and whatnot, so ain't nobody gonna judge you.
Oh,
judge me,
I'll say anything, whatever I think. So that ain't no problem.
That ain't no problem.
You know me, I'm an open book.
Right, and your man probably read it.
Okay, Maggie.
Right. I was like, what I said? Oh, okay.
That's a Meg Thee Stallion quote.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Get it together.
I don't listen to Meg Thee Stallion. That's not my thing.
Shit.
You need to get with it.
I look at her, but I don't really like.
You look at her.
You do.
Huh?
We all looking at her, okay?
I know. Don't y'all love her too?
We are.
I love
You love her more than most.
No, not really.
What you got against Megan?
Who?
No, she's not number one.
She said,
I don't necessarily agree with everything that she, be standing for. I have a different. Is it
about Tori?
No, not even that. I think he definitely shot that girl in the foot. He tried to knock her ankles off. But I'm saying, like, I don't know if I agree with this whole, like, view of women they're trying to bring out. So
yeah, like her personal views on feminism, I feel, or feminism, quote unquote.
I don't her.
It is what it is.
Yeah, do you? Yeah. But
Oh, Alexis, we can't hear you. Your mic's muted.
I'm here.
No. So yeah. So all right. So we got people in here. So what's good, everybody? This is your boy Hud from the V.N.T podcast, also known as Various Negro Talking. I want to thank you for joining me on this Friday night, and we got more various Negroes in here talking.
Of the female assortment.
Yeah, I didn't want to say like the female part two. Because first of all, I'm not saying that word female because I'm not trying to.
Look, because I saw Nico ask.
With the female
talking about asking them why they don't like being called females.
It sounds disrespectful the way they say it.
It brings me back to V.N.T.
It's just another way of calling somebody a bitch in my eyes, but that's just
males.
Lord.
They don't call nobody no male, so.
You male.
There you go. There's your answer, Nico. If you watching.
So look, and thank everybody for watching. You know what I'm saying? This is technically a part 2 of episode 3, but I ain't that intelligent, so I'm just gonna call it episode 4. So I want to thank y'all for watching. So, Lord, I'm burp. Excuse me, Jesus.
It looked like
just need everybody to introduce themselves. Just a quick little introduction, and we're gonna get this thing going. So, Brittany, starting with you.
Hey y'all, I'm Brittany. Me and Hud been friends since Korea. We was in Kunsan together. I'm stationed out at Arizona at Tucson, Davis-Monthan, and I'm in country ass Montgomery, Alabama right now. So my connection might be ratchet as hell. So I'm sorry in advance.
You in the academy right now?
No, I'm at Quippic training. I don't know if you know about Quippic, but yeah. So yeah, that's me.
Shanae.
I'm Shanae, and I'm in ghetto ass Virginia, ready to leave. Bye. Deuces out of here.
Where you headed to?
Huh?
Where you headed?
Oh, I'm going to Vegas in like 3 weeks. Nellis is not ready for me.
No.
I don't really know what that means. What does that mean when people say that? But anyway, Alexis.
Listen, I am freshly single, so the streets are calling me, okay?
Not you doing the world.
Hey, and while we're here, if you have any cute friends.
Wow. Breaking news, everybody. So
Breaking news.
shoot and whatnot. All right, so Alexis.
Hey y'all, I'm Alexis. I'm in San Antonio right now. I met HUD in where did we meet? South Dakota. So it's been a
Ellsworth,
minute.
you know what I'm saying? Below temp.
The
Below
valley
freezing.
of the shadow of death is where we were. So, freedom feels good. But that's all.
Lord. Did that pop up? All right, Z, you gotta unmute yourself, Z.
I see. Hey Tommy, I saw you the other day. I miss you, buddy. Hey y'all, I'm Z. I honestly, me and HUD, I mean, I couldn't even tell you how we really met. Like we met on social media, and then we wound up being in the same unit in Virginia. But we both from St. Louis, so that was like the
And
home.
we even got deeper roots. I went to high school with her best friend.
I know it's a small world. Like so, I mean, the world is small, but St. Louis is even smaller. So
And I babysitted Gabe, her little
I know
homie.
my broke best friend. But yeah, I just got back from Greenland probably, and January is when I came back, and now I'm in Lackland. So yeah, yes, Alexis, we got to meet.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we do.
This is not
She be
it.
cooking too, but don't be stealing the cookies because the cookies is like my thing. She's supposed to be sending to me, but we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah.
All right, Danae.
Can you send me some too?
That's perfect.
All right, Danae.
Hi, I'm Danae. I'm not in the Air Force anymore, but I was in for 8 years. I know Kenyon via Bill Gates' website, like Bill Gates' internet, Facebook friends type stuff. I currently live in Iowa.
I thought this was Mark's stuff.
It is Mark's stuff, but it's Bill Gates' internet. Like he's like the roots of it, right?
Al Gore.
It's Al Gore's internet.
I
Al Gore
don't
was
think
he
he
like
made
the
the internet
weatherman?
sis. He made Microsoft computers.
Who did the internet? Whoever that is.
This is Beyonce's internet, but anyway.
Period. Beyonce.
So I currently live in Iowa. It's cold. And yeah, I'm a student up here for interior design. So that's what I'm doing now.
Dope. Erica.
Hello, everybody. I am Erica, currently in Biloxi, Mississippi at Keystone. I just came from Korea, where I met the wonderful HUD, who was actually the first person I met when I got to Korea, because I got to the unit and I was like, you automatically find the first Black person that makes you feel comfortable. And he was that
I'm
person.
the blackest. I'm normally the blackest person in the room.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, so yeah, we went to lunch at the bowling alley and it was great and I felt comfortable until I went back to the office and then he left. So then, yeah.
So how was the rest of your tour there? You ain't got to get into the drama because I know there was some shit, but how was the rest of your tour there?
I left there feeling like a single mother. I felt like a single mom because I felt like everybody was giving me everything and I had to do everything. I didn't have a moment to like do anything outside of what was needed for the office. And so, and it wasn't a problem. The airmen needed things from me that they wouldn't get from their supervisors, stuff like that. And so it was worth it, but I definitely felt like a single mom and I don't got no kids.
Okay. All right, y'all. So everybody, thank you for tuning in and whatnot. Of course, this will be up on Apple Podcasts later. Once I figure out how to do it, I am not that tech savvy. So if somebody know how to do this stuff other than me, I'll be pulling my hair out. I'll be tired of shit trying to do this stuff. So it be getting on Apple Podcasts, and I don't know how. I just be pushing buttons. So, you know what I'm saying? If anybody want to hit me up in the DMs if you want to help a brother out. You know what I'm saying? So this is the V.N.T episode 4. We got some topics we about to go over. So first question to the ladies. Do you know when you're feeling off? Z, since you want to. Anyway, so do you know when you're feeling off, whether that's mentally, emotionally, physically, or socially? How do you recognize it, and what do you do to find balance? So I'll start with Erica.
I'll say I know when I'm feeling off, when I just want to sit in a room in the dark by myself and don't talk. For me, I don't really say a lot of words in general, but because of my job and I have to say a lot of words. So I feel like whenever I get to the point where I'm just like feeling overwhelmed or like I just want to punch, not even a person, just a wall, then I'm like, okay, let me go regroup. So that's why weekends are important for me, because it's my time to like reset. So during the week, I'm like, go, 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 go. But I know I'm off when I just want to, be by myself, completely absent of light and everything. So, yeah.
Okay. So typically, when you're feeling off, like how long do you normally be in that mood? Typically,
Not very long. Number one, because I feel like most of the times when something does tilt me off norm, it's like after the fact you realize it's not even that big of a deal. And second of all, because I don't really know how to identify with my emotions. So if I feel like something, it's like I'll experience something, or I'll be pissed, or whatever feeling I'm feeling is outside of being happy or content. It's like I feel that, and then it goes away, and I'm like, okay, that was that. So it doesn't last long. I'm not usually angry noticeably for me anyway, or
okay.
Feeling away off for very long.
Okay. Shanae, yeah, unmute.
For me, it's just like when I don't want to do anything at all. Like I get in these moods and everything in my life just goes away. I don't clean my house, stuff like that. And then I realize like, oh, I'm going through like a depressive episode, I guess is how I would describe it. But I haven't really learned how to deal with it yet. So I just started going back to therapy like a month ago to try to figure out how to not fall into these deep episodes, because sometimes they'll last for weeks at a time. So
Okay. So Z.
Like kind of like they say, like I'm generally a person, I can suck up anything. I can even like when I know people don't like me, I'm one of them type of people. I'm nice at a default naturally. When I find like the simplest things irritate me, that's when I'm like, all right, like when I'm ready to just, okay, this bitch tripping. Like when I feel like I'm finna be like I'm from back at home again, and I feel like I'm finna not be Staff Sergeant Wilkerson, not be Aziza, not be a mom. When I just feel like the only outlet for me is cussing, fussing, or physical violence. When I feel like I want to just hit somebody, I just be like, all right, like what's the root cause of this? Like why am I really irritated? Like by the time I'm really asking myself that question, it has already been going on for a substantial amount of time. It's not like I just woke up and want to fight. It's been little things irritating me.
So you're basically one of those people that like let everything build up and it just kind of all comes out at once.
I'm absolutely a bottler. Absolutely a bottler. And it's not healthy, but sometimes that's the only outlet that you have, because sometimes you can't even address it in the moment because life still has to happen. Like I'm a single mother, so I can't wallow in my pity or feel sorry for myself because I got to give something to somebody else, and then I got to go be an NCO, and I got to take care of my airmen, and I got to make sure that my master sergeant got everything. Like you're always carrying something, so you don't realize it sometimes until it's a little too late. And that's the days you don't want to get out the bed. You don't want to eat. You barely want to shower. You don't want to answer your phones. Like you look down at your phone and realize you ain't text nobody back in 5 days. Like I've become more aware over the years, but it took me going through a lot of things. 2019 was a bad year for me. You seen it.
Yeah.
It took me going through 2019 to realize like, okay, I can't ignore these triggers. I can't ignore my feelings. I can't act like it doesn't exist, because when you act like it doesn't exist, all it's doing is burying it. And then when it comes, it's even worse than just attending to that scratch before it becomes a grade 4 trauma.
So. Cool. Brittany.
I think for me, I'm pretty much like everybody else. I'm very connected with like my energy. Like I can feel when I am not happy. When something around me is off, I can feel it like in my entire spirit. So for me, I don't want, just like them, I don't want to do anything. I just want to stay by myself. I'm a very, outward kind of person. I like people. So when I don't want to talk to people and I don't want to be around people, that's how I know like, all right, something's wrong with me. And it's taken me a long time. I'm very much a person that fights against those kind of feelings too. So when I'm in that mood, I try everything I can to get out of it, but it's like nothing satisfies me until I finally make up in my mind that, you know what, just go out, take a breath, walk, do something else other than just sitting there feeling in that energy. And once I do that and I get out of that darkness, I start to feel a lot better when I kind of direct my mentality to something else and not thinking about so much negative stuff.
Okay, cool. Alexis?
So I remember it might have been around 2013, and I was stationed at Lackland. I'm not in anymore, by the way. And
Oh, so you can curse and talk about people. Go ahead, go for it.
no.
Go ahead, go for it.
But I remember I was pretty much known for like my military bearing at work and everything, being very professional and all. And they had a lot on me. I had like every extra duty possible, UDM, doing the training for everybody, you know, just everything. And I was in budget. So I remember somebody came in, a master sergeant, and I actually yelled at him and then broke down crying. And that had never happened like my whole career. So I was like, I turned around, I told him I can't do this right now. And I had to go to a room by myself. And it scared me because I never responded like that. So I ended up, I went to mental health and talked to a psychiatrist. And I was told that I'm very high functioning when it comes to stress. And see, in my mind, it doesn't feel like I have, like nothing warrants that reaction. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I mean, stuff is happening, but it's nothing I can't handle. I'm fine. And they had to explain to me that mentally, I may think I'm okay. I may think I can handle this, but your body is telling you you can't. You reacting in a way like out of control, the crying at the drop of a hat and everything. Your body is physically telling you, I've had enough. Mm-hmm. And so fast forward to today, after having like panic attacks, I started having those. And then now it's like I've started to recognize my physical triggers. So I might have like a pain that goes down my neck. I can feel it in my stomach. And like some of you other ladies have mentioned, I get to the point I'm an introvert anyway, but I get really, really introverted. Like I don't want to leave my room. I don't want to talk to anybody, deal with anybody, nothing. And snapping, I will snap. So it's like when I start getting like that and there's really no reason for me to, you know what, let me decompress because I don't want to do or say anything in this moment, you know.
Look, when I first met you, you was snapping.
Well, Kenyon, because y'all was bad, okay?
I'm just saying, you scared the shit out of me. It worked. So, all right. So, Danae, did I ask you, Danae? I'm sorry, Danae.
No, you haven't. You haven't.
Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's okay. For me, I know when I'm off because right now I feel like I currently am off, and it's the way I see it is me constantly defending myself against depression. It's defending myself against it because I've been there and I know what it does to me. And I know that I was able to work myself out of it. So right now it's like a constant defense that I have up. So, you know, I do things that I want to do. If I want to spend $300 at Ulta, I'm going to spend $300 at Ulta on some self-care stuff and feel great about it because that's something that makes me feel better. Now, I don't do it all the time, but I'm just saying at a moment, and when it's come to that, you know, I can help myself with that, or, you know, positively talk to myself and positively reinforce myself that, you know, what I'm going through now isn't forever. And the next day is going to be a lot better as long as I make a decision to make that day better.
Got you. So just a general question to everybody here. Like, do you feel like it's a little bit extra as Black women, just whether you served or not, or you still in or not? Like, how extra does it, like being Black and sometimes being in the military, or just going through life in general? How does that feel for y'all?
Don't even get me started.
Right.
But I just feel like as Black women, we're just expected to be like superwoman all the time. We're not allowed the opportunity to show any type of vulnerability. We just have to suck everything up. Like Alexis said, like 2018 was probably one of the worst years that I've ever had, especially at work. And I had a million additional duties. They made me an NCOIC as a brand new staff sergeant. I was in charge of the training of a flight of like 35. I had no idea what I was doing, and I was so stressed out. But I wasn't. Anytime I brought it up, it was just like, "Oh, you can handle it.
You'll figure it out. You're great.
You gonna figure it out." You know, I ended up in mental health because I had a breakdown at work, and they would have never done that to none of them white people.
I think
they did.
I think for me, being especially from the urban community, you know, most of the time I faced this my whole career that, you know, my name's Aziza. So when you see it written down, it's automatically, okay, either we finna have a ghetto Black girl or a foreigner come in and like, but is it not her? You see my first and middle name written down on paper. Like,
yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they expect so much. Like, I remember my first couple meetings, people will be like, especially when you're in NCOIC or you're in these meetings, I remember this lady yelled at me. And I'm sitting there like, and before I could open up my mouth, the captain is like, everybody be respectful. But he's directing that comment towards me. But I'm like, this broad yelling at me, like, it's like we're always perceived as a ghetto Black girl or a Black girl with an attitude, no matter if we're right. Like, why do I have to bring my AFI to the meeting with you when I'm telling you you're doing something incorrectly? Like, we don't have to be friends, but the military put a lot of money into me for me to be the subject matter expert. So if I'm telling you you're doing something wrong, why do I have to bring my AFI to back me? Because you're not making anyone else bring this AFI, this guidance, this DOD, anything to them. You take their word on it. But me, I'm having to prove that I'm the subject matter expert, but yet if something goes wrong, I'm the first to get the blame. But when everything goes right, oh, that's what it's like. That's expected. Like, I get tired of wearing that double mask and code switching. Like, it's to the point now, like, bruh, if I can't talk to you like this, then I'm not talking. Like, I'm not code switching no more. Like, plus I'm close to retirement, so they really can kick rocks at this point. But
I think for me, I feel you on that, because as a senior NCO too, it gets worse. I'm gonna just tell you right now, like, as you go up in the rank, it's like you have to balance being yourself and being professional, whatever they deem to be that. You know, you always constantly have to like change your, because if I say anything in a meeting that sounds aggressive in their opinion, then I'm the angry Black woman, or I'm like, oh, Sergeant Moore, she's too much, you know. Like, it's always a constant thing that you have to be mindful for, that other people don't have to think about. Like, they can say anything and, you know, not necessarily get the same reaction. But if we say it, as especially Black women, we are automatically seen, have a title, a label on us. Like, nobody wants to deal with us, or nobody wants to, like, you know, oh, she's just difficult, whatever the case may be. So I've learned that more and more as I've gone up in rank, and it's like, it's very exhausting. And I feel like that's not just in the military, obviously, that's in the regular civilian sector as well. But
yes,
it's hard. It's hard to deal with.
Can I add something real quick? Because you hit the nail on the head when you said difficult. Another thing that I've noticed is, I hate to say this, but I understand the struggles that our Black men go through in the military, but I feel like nobody understands the struggle that Black women go through in the military, because Black men still get a pass. They're still part of the old boy club, where we're fighting to have a seat at the table. At least they're in the room. Like, they can come in, even as a Black man, they may not necessarily agree with what y'all saying, but you get more credit just off of being a man versus what we get as a woman. So we get the struggle of what the Black man goes through, as well as the struggle of being a Black woman trying to get monitored. Like, we're treated like we're treated like children, but yet they expect results as if we're adults.
For me, it's always one of the things that I have to contend with, and I've been dealing with this since I was an airman, is that I don't look nice. Like, I don't have, you know, you don't look at me and say, oh, let me go sit to her and start randomly talking to you, to her. I think it's that, on top of the fact that I'm not too versed on the politicking of that you have to do in the military to make people feel comfortable. I also don't care to make people feel comfortable when they're interacting with me. Not saying that I'm out to, like, bulldoze people and make people feel uncomfortable, but this is who I am. And if other people are allowed to be who they are, then we've been occupy the same space. And so, having to constantly monitor how I'm saying what I'm saying. I get tired of saying the same thing over and over again. But if somebody else say the same thing and I just say it, and it's like, oh, that's a great idea. But when something goes wrong, I'm the one that got to fix it, because you should listen to me in the first place. That's because I said that already. And so, that's the exhausting part. I think having to contend with being an angry Black woman, and I'll offer an opposing point of view. Because I could say this is true for me, especially when I was an airman, just coming to the military. Like, I got branded as the angry Black woman. I was at Andrews for like almost 6 years, and I was there from A1C to staff. So I had to be there with some of those same people throughout the whole career progression process. And I never really got to shake that perception, it wasn't true. But like, I had to learn how to, like, sometimes I do be coming off a little aggressive. But that's not to say that that should be the case every time. I don't know. I think it's something that just, like, within myself that I had to realize, like, am I speaking from my emotions or am I speaking objectively? Because we all know that as women, if you're coming from your emotions, ain't nobody gonna listen to you. You automatically, nothing that you're saying gets picked up after you start speaking. So I had to learn that, but then also learn how to differentiate when someone was really, like, trying me versus when it was actually, like, I don't want to say justified, but like if I was really in the wrong.
For me, it was kind of the opposite, where I always felt like I was a nice person. But when I joined the Air Force, I knew that they would see me as, an angry Black woman, because that's what it is. So for me, it was, well, I'm not going to be your expectation. So for me, it was, well, now I'm just going to be hyper nice. I'm going to be a super people pleaser. I'm going to do all these things because at 20 years old, that's what I thought I had to do to, like, be in this environment. And along that way, it wasn't until I got out of the Air Force in 2020 that I realized that character that I was playing all this time took such a detriment on who I am at my core, on who Danae really is. So for me, it was always trying to people please and trying to be that person, the smiley one, and it got so bad to where it's like, when I didn't smile, when I was actually feeling my real emotions, it was, well, what's wrong with you? What's going on? Why aren't you doing this? And because that's not anyone else's fault, I feel, other than my own, for wearing that mask, trying to be a part of whatever it was they had going on.
Right. I think I saw one of the comments that like Robinson had put about how it is for Black women against Black women, basically in higher ranks, how they treat us. I feel like sometimes they can also come off aggressive because it can be, depending on the woman, it can be like it's a competition almost. Like, they don't necessarily want to see you get there, but because they feel like they're going to lose their place in some kind of way at times. So I think sometimes we can be harder on each other than necessary. But I also feel like sometimes that we are hard on each other because we want to make sure that we are, holding each other accountable. Because I've dealt with people who are totally rude and disrespectful black women, but I've also dealt with other people that's the same way. So I don't necessarily categorize like all Black women as just at a higher rank that's just going to automatically take me in under their wing and treat me well and like make sure that I make it, because I do feel like they feel that there's a competition at sometimes in some places. But I think we definitely need to do better with that.
Sometimes it's like, you ever been to church, like a new church somewhere, and then like the older women in the church like sneering at you because you ain't got on stockings and you're supposed to wear stockings. Sometimes you don't got no stockings, why are you here? And so sometimes it's like that. But then you do find those ones that are somebody we can eat on the pod. But sometimes it works, but sometimes they be like old church ladies.
I wanted to say real quick that when I was in, I tend to have a resting face, a certain one. Now, it's not indicative. Shut up, Kenya. It's not indicative at all of like what I'm thinking or even feeling in that moment. That's just my resting face or whatever. But same assumptions and everything. And then if I know the rules, the regulations, it's real clear with me. You either following them or you're not. And if you're not, then I don't have a problem correcting that, saying that, doing what's necessary. But I found that at almost every single base that I was stationed at, even as an airman, they kind of like pick me to be the bad guy. And when I say pick me to be the bad guy, give me the worst airman. Give me the problem kids in the group. Give me the problem section. And then I have to do what's necessary to turn that around. They went so far as to having me counsel airmen that weren't mine because their supervisors who outranked me were too scared to do it. But you're the mean black sergeant, so we know you're not afraid to do it. So here, handle this for me. So I turn into that. So you got me doing all this other stuff. Then you keep giving me the airmen. Y'all don't want to deal with the sections you don't want to deal with. You know what I'm saying? But then when it's time for, step promotion, awards, anything like that, then it went to, people who look different than me or whatever. And so then on the other hand, now that's just work, because we didn't really even touch on the fact that now at home, I'm wife and I'm mom. So I'm Sergeant Clark at work, then I'm wife and mom, and I have to fix everything, beat everything to everyone. And it just got to a point in my life, like who's can I be me? You know what I'm saying? Like, and who is me at this point? Who am I at this point? So that was a problem, trying to rediscover who the heck I was, because right now you have all these expectations. Everyone has this. And that's what kind of led to some issues, with me. So everybody else's expectations.
I will say, I feel safe looking at your face. So maybe that's why.
I know out the military, so I smile a lot more now.
I mean, no, even when I first came on and you wasn't smiling, I was like, oh, I trust you. I don't feel like you I don't know, it's some of your face. I just trust you. I feel like you wouldn't lie to me.
I spent the whole year trying to make her laugh. That was like my goal.
Oh my God.
To like just make her laugh. Trust me.
So I have a question. Like, I know we talked about that, like black female supervisors, being that way. But for me, I can count on, I'm about to hit 18 this month. I can literally say in my career, I had one black supervisor, female supervisor, and she was retiring, so she wasn't mine for very long. And that was when I first got to the unit when I was with HUD. And then I had an N2IC that was my supervisor. You know who it was, and it was issues with that one when I got there, and I hadn't even been in the unit very much. So I don't know, like, I think sometimes it's career field specific. Like me, I'm IT, I'm comm in the Air Force, and it's never, usually I'm the only one in my flight squadron that looks like me. I'm lucky if I get a black man. So for me, my kind of career path has been a lot differently because no one ever, comm and IT is a new wave. But when you've been doing this for 18 years, it's just now airmen that look like me. I can tell you if I've ever seen a chief in my career field that looked like me or a senior.
It's not too many of those. So
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like in my career path, like it's been very like my flight, when we was in the unit, I was the only one. And even when I was going through everything I was going through, HUD can attest, like I had to come in and smile every day. I would go out to my car, take naps and cry because of what I was going through. But everybody could attest, like you would never had known that my life was in shambles. And I didn't know if I was going to have a career whenever the decision was made. It's just, I think sometimes in the military specifically, they don't account for the person, whether it's race, gender, whatever the case may be. They forget that we're still people. And we hurt, we cry, we feel all that stuff. And that's never accounted for when we're told to mentor and lead and get the mission done at any cost. But what about the cost that it takes on us as a person? Like you said, Alexis, like, we forget who we are. I couldn't tell you what I like to do before I came in the military or what I like to do before I was a mom. Like, And then when we do the things we want, like I feel bad that I'm not with my child or that I'm not at work doing something that could be productive. Like they really got us brainwashed at this point. We really have been, what is it? They really trained us well.
Yeah. That's something like, just to go off, to piggyback off what you said, finding
You didn't have to do that. That was so unnecessary. I know you miss it, but don't.
No, I don't miss it. I don't miss it. But like you said, they did a good job brainwashing us. That's one that I keep in my little noggin. But finding out who it is that you are, like you and Alexis said, it's finding out, okay, well, who am I outside of this Air Force? Because they work you so hard, and you have all these duties, you have all these things, and then you come home, in my case, my husband and my daughter, and it's like, okay, then I'm still having this hat on, take off the Air Force hat to put on spouse hat to like do this stuff. But it's like, when do I have the time for me? And that wasn't something I even realized that I needed until I got out of the Air Force and can like do a lot of thinking back on things of like, oh wait, they stripped me from me. Now I'm out here thinking I'm going crazy because I don't know myself. And it was literal, like I thought I was going crazy. Like I always was like this person who's like, you got it. It could be all this positive thing. But it wasn't until I went through my depression where I realized, oh, all that shit I'm talking to other people, like it's time for me to take that in for myself, because it was rough trying to figure out who it is that I am again after 8 years of not being me.
I think that's the hard part about being a woman in general. Just because of the nature of what it is to be a woman, to be that, to have that instinctual instinct to be everything to everybody, and finding that balance of,
very nurturing.
Yeah, and finding that balance of, how can I still take care of these people who are dependent on me, and how do I take care of myself? And so when it comes to me, like I never really bought into the whole idea that if you're in the military, that's all you're supposed to be. So that's why whenever, anybody who I supervise or whoever I'm around and have the capacity to have this conversation and develop this dynamic relationship with, is that like, I care about the person first, because if you're healthy as a person, you'll be a healthier airman. How do we maximize human capital? That's, and to me, that's the realizing that there's life outside of the military. You're not going to always be in the military forever. How do you develop yourself as an individual outside of the military? And that's always more important to me. And I think that people appreciate that more, especially people who are just getting into the military and are not necessarily buying into the whole, because for a lot of people, it's a check. Like, ain't nobody really joining the military no more because they want to go fight and shoot people. Ain't nobody doing that. We trying to get checks to school.
For that.
Right.
Who really doing for the first place? Like, who patriotic on here?
No, not at all.
I'm here for that insurance.
First of all,
right.
I'm an American airman. But anyway, so
really? Okay.
So we're gonna move on to our next question. So that was a great, man. Like that was y'all was saying some real shit. I really appreciate all y'all's opinions and whatnot. So we're gonna move on. But actually they might tie into together. So insecurities and stuff, whether that's in life, just growing up being women. I know it's hard as fuck on y'all just being like just existing in the world today with the insecurities and stuff. Like how do y'all deal with y'all insecurities and everything? And do you recognize them? Or do you learn things like, yo, I'm insecure about this, I'm insecure about that? Like how do y'all go about dealing with those?
In what area, or are you talking about just in general?
In general, just in general.
I'll let one of y'all say it first so I can know where to start.
I'll go. I'm still dealing with insecurities. I don't think you ever not have any, or not trying to figure them out. For me, I got out. I'm old, y'all, so FYI. I got out in 2014.
You look good though. You good.
Thank you. I got out in 2014, and I am still on a journey of self-discovery personally. Just figuring out who I am and everything, what I'm comfortable doing. I've always felt like the awkward kid, like I don't really fit in like quite everywhere. So that kind of like shaped a lot of things, but I'm getting to the point. I'm cool being awkward. I'm cool being me, because I have enough of a village that accepts me, for me, and like I accept them, and like it's cool being different, and everything. And I'm just slowly and I do mean slowly, figuring out who I am and being comfortable in that, and understanding that everybody is dealing with insecurities. So not being as timid or, kind of shrinking myself back because of those insecurities. Now I'm like moving forward and jumping into stuff I never would have thought to do or would have had the courage to do despite my insecurities. And it's like giving me courage to do a lot other things. Even this podcast, I was nervous as crap,
But hey, you got me, you know what I'm saying? I got it through you through it. You know me. Like
I
this
think
whole
it's just cool. No, I think we just need to understand that everybody has the insecurities. Nobody has it all together. And if they're presenting themselves as such, then they're fake and phony. So
even this podcast in itself was an insecurity for me because everybody know I always got something to say about something, even if most times it don't be about nothing. I just be talking and shit. So, and y'all kind of empowered me to do this. So I really appreciate y'all. Shanae, so.
Now, why you had to call on me? I'm still thinking. I mean, like, I feel like for me, up until recently, I was more so in denial about me being insecure about anything. And I feel like that was mostly because a lot of people, I don't want to get on here and bash it, man. I really don't. But they try to use your insecurities against you. And I just feel like I'm just now starting to deal with them and try to navigate around them and how to figure out how to, a lot of them to get over. I would say one of my biggest, I am very insecure about my job. I don't know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 11 years. I have no idea what I'm doing. And look, and you ask, I do the weather, y'all. Okay. And it's just one of those jobs where it's just, I've been skating. And now that I'm a tech sergeant, and I have to go brief the base commander and this and that. And I'm just like very insecure about that. I be having panic attacks. We do it 3 times a week. I'm just in there like the entire time. And that is probably one of my biggest insecurities is that I don't know what I'm doing. So, I mean,
no one does.
Yeah. And I think you do know what you're doing.
And that is something that is something that I'm realizing is like, I am not the only one who is just sitting here trying to figure it out. But I think one of my biggest problems with I don't like to talk about it. I keep everything to myself for the most part. And I don't like to talk about stuff like that. I just try to figure everything out on my own. Mm-hmm. So but that's Brittany, something that I'm learning how to get over. But yeah.
So Brittany.
Yeah, I mean, my insecurities obviously started from like childhood, like traumas and things that's happened in my life that has really affected how I have an outlook on things, on my own self, like, abandonment issues and all kind of stuff, right? So I have a lot of insecurities about, I grew up in the South. I'm a dark-skinned girl. I used to be very insecure about my skin color. Like I used to my mom is light and I'm dark. And I used to always, they used to make fun of that when I was a kid a little bit. And it was hard, so it took me a long time to be comfortable in my skin. But I can tell you now that I'm way more confident about it now because I kind of just look at it like, this is who I am. And there's nothing that's going to change it. You got to embrace what it is and you just kind of move on. Now, I feel you, Shanae, about this job thing. Okay, girl, because I was a young master sergeant. So for me, it's just like, what the hell? Like, they put you in a position, you promote yourself into a position that now you're in charge of people and you have to know what you're talking about and you have to be able to articulate that to higher leaders, and they're counting on you to know what the hell is going on. So it's tough, and I feel that every day. Like I'm always like, damn, cool to get money, but damn it, like they really like shit, you know what I'm saying? But I just kind of, again, every day I feel like I get better. Every day you get better. Every day that you continue on, you learn something new every single day. I feel like you could never don't be too scared about it. You're doing it. You're doing it. So, and so for me, that's what I think about it when I'm going through. I'm like, damn, I'm still doing it. I don't know how. God is really helping me out here, but I am making it happen every single day. So that's how I get over my insecurities, because I kind of just feel like I can see them. I know that they're there, but I'm still alive and I'm still kicking. So I'm just going to keep moving every single day. That's just how I look at it.
All right. Erica.
Okay, so I've been thinking about mine and trying to like wrap it up into like one. And I think my biggest one is that I'm not cool. Like, I'm not cool. Like, I don't.
Well, what is cool? Like, honestly,
Girl, you are giving me so much cool right now. Like you are.
Yeah, who cares about being cool?
And I feel like you're
you.
so confident.
All of us is like,
that's cool. You know who you are. Like, that is
Thank
cool.
you.
I definitely don't think I'm cool. I'm kind of a weirdo. Like, if
Exactly.
y'all
like,
know me, I'm a weirdo.
When I
Not
say
cool,
cool,
King.
when I say cool, I'm not even saying just like trendy. I'm saying like I just don't feel like, kind of like what you were saying, Alexis. Like I don't feel like I fit into a lot of places. I wasn't allowed to really have an imagination when I was a child, so I still be doing like childlike stuff. Like I want to go to the beach and build sandcastles, like stuff like that. And so I find myself doing things that I do a lot of things by myself because I don't want to bring people into my like experience of my weirdness. But I like doing things. Like I think farts are funny. I think farts are hilarious. Like it's like stuff like that. Like I'm just not cool. Like like I feel like my body type just doesn't fit some of the like clothes trends. Like I want to wear pants that are loose, like the little mom jeans, but they don't fit me good because I'm bottom heavy. So it's like it's stuff like that. And so it's like not even trying to necessarily fit in, but just realizing that like, dang, like I really have to walk to the beat of my own drum because like I don't want to be like everybody else, and that's cool and all. But it's just like
beautiful.
I see it. Like nobody else be laughing at farts like me, and so it's like
you'd be surprised.
Exactly, Erica. I like joke with my daughter. We love fart jokes. We love farting. It is the funniest thing. Like, wait, what's that? And then fart and be like, oh, I think there's a duck in the house. Like that's the funny thing.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. Like I don't know how to take pictures. It's stuff like that. Like I don't know. It's just I be feeling like I just be on the island by myself.
I'm never gonna know how to take pictures.
I don't know how to
I look
take
cuter in
pictures
person.
either.
I look cuter in person. That's why I tell everybody. So
you cute in person.
I totally understand where you're coming from. Like especially the whole body type thing. It's just so much pressure as a woman to look a certain way, and you see all these girls on Instagram who are just Coke bottle shaped, big ass, flat stomach. It's a lot, and even I like find myself like I need to stop trying to compare myself to these people because it's just unrealistic, and I should be fine looking the way I am. It's a lot, but I be wanting to wear them little dresses that they be wearing on Fashion Nova. I can't fit in those. I got too much of a stomach for that.
I don't want to wear that stuff. Like I want to dress like the 1800s. Like I think they dress cool. Like I want to wear like little.
So you trying to dress like Summer Walker?
You're so cool.
Girl, you trying to tell me
not that pilgrim dress? Not that pilgrim dress Summer Walker had on.
I want the pilgrim dress. I want the little scarf. Like I want to walk around like this,
Girl, you trying to not breathe the bones in a bone corset? That's it. You want me to put my knee and tighten it?
Yes, and I want to do it with a man who's wearing like a top hat and one of the little he could walk around like this.
A cummerbund?
Yeah.
First of all, if we being honest, I don't think black men was allowed to wear like suits and stuff back then. You had to wear rags.
That sounds like antebellum. I don't know.
No,
not antebellum.
All right, Danae.
Don't do that. Why you had to do that?
All right, Danae. Insecurities. How do you recognize them and deal with them?
I know an insecurity that I have is I don't even say public speaking. Look, I guess this is going to tell my insecurity. It's like me worrying if I get my words right, quote unquote, right. And like, okay, how is it that I speak in front of people? Because sometimes I feel like when I talk, am I even making sense to myself? Because it takes me a while to like get to the point I'm trying to make. So for me, an insecurity that I have is just, I guess, not sounding dumb, but like, what does that even mean? I don't even know what that means, but like, that's what my mind is telling me. Like, oh, well, maybe that sounds kind of dumb, or maybe you should explain that a bit more. Maybe you should do that. So I think for me, I've had to realize, and I think honestly, I think it just stems off of my environment that I'm in as well, of just not being not feeling that I'm being understood. So I think for me, it's finding those people who understand you. Like, I don't know, just like, all right, who gets me? Who gets me?
You.
You know, like who? I guess that's what I gotta say on that.
I feel you, because I be using the word. I use all of the, I use be where it don't supposed to be, but I can't help it, and I'm okay with it. Like I be like that,
Okay.
And I say it in public sometimes. It slips out. So I feel you. I be feeling you.
I think honestly, you just find your tribe, and when you find your tribe, they get you. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Like, damn everybody else. Like, they don't even matter. After you find your tribe, it's like you're not cool enough to hang with us anyway. So bye.
Danae, can I give you a situation about the word thing? So when I first came in, I used to have to give.
Listen,
I'm gonna give her one that's real. I used to have to give a cryptographic access brief, and in there, I had to brief it from colonels all the way down to airman basic. Didn't matter your rank, you had to have it. However, in there they say compromise like 17 times. I didn't know what that word was, so my mama told me to sound it out. I said, can promise 17 times, can promise. So I say all that. You listen, sometimes you just got to be stupid and be able to laugh at yourself with those words, because I say words wrong all the time, and it's horrible. But I just be like, whatever, that's my word.
That's my word. That's how I say it.
Webster, who finna go find Webster? Go get a thesaurus.
Yeah. Look, don't get me started on the first time I saw the word egregious written down.
Girl,
Gregorious. Look,
I had no idea. How you spell it? I always see it.
Like Egregious. I don't know what I said, but it was nowhere near egregious.
Look,
nowhere. You be like ergonomics.
Ergonomics.
Like Alexis, you know me. Shanae, you know me. Z, you know me. Like, like for the most part, like me being from Mississippi / St. Louis, I had to try to navigate the Air Force using my accent. So like when I first joined, it was just like, yo, we're gonna make you do all the briefings. And I'm just like, you want me to talk? Hold up, cuz. Like, so I couldn't say here, I wasn't here, her, there, everywhere. And then sometimes that Mississippi come out and be like here, there, and stuff like that. Sometimes all that stuff come out, it just runs all together. So Z, what about some insecurities you had to deal with?
I was hoping you was gonna bypass me on that one,
nope.
dog.
Nah. I'm paying attention.
That's Arkansas, bro. Okay, Tommy, it's Arkansas. It's Arkansas. Sound it out. Arkansas. No, just playing. With my insecurities, I'm very aware of them because I actively go out and try to fix them. Whether it's physical, mentally, emotionally, whatever the case may be. Like, I know when I'm being dramatic. I know when I'm being sensitive. That's just because, like, I have this very unrealistic standard for myself. Like, I believe that I can reach perfection. And when I don't reach perfection, I have a mental breakdown. Like, I guess for me, like, I know where mine come from, because when you grow up being the second sibling of a genius, a child genius, like my brother legit was like one of them hyper smart kids, and I had to go to Title I reading. Like, I couldn't read out loud for the longest time. Like, I still won't read out loud. Like, I memorize it before I read something out loud because that's my insecurity. Like, so I try to work hard through them, but it makes me obsessive compulsive, which is a doozy in itself. So it's kind of like a never ending circle of trying to fix something that sometimes you just got to be okay with it being broken. But I haven't got to that point yet. So when I get there, I'll let y'all know. But like right now, I'm living in a house. Y'all hear this echo? I don't have no furniture in here. My TMO come on Monday, but I want to. That's why y'all see my kitchen.
Yeah, Eric is in the same position. So
yeah, I'm sitting on the floor in my room.
Girl, you see my big bag shirt my mama got me.
And my little,
but you know what's crazy though?
Like, on a UPS box. Like, I don't have nothing.
I was using the box of dishes.
All of y'all knew me before, but like Kenyon with the gap, with the huge gap, would have never like even.
I was on V.N.T looking real nice.
But you come so far, Kenyon. You
I'm
come
low key
so
cute
far.
almost.
You,
That's what I'm
oh,
saying.
hold on now. Hold on, wait.
No,
Wait.
nothing. All right, I try. You know what I'm saying? I be
We
trying to.
ain't say all of that.
You is cute. You cute, huh? You cute. Especially when
You
you
are
get that
very
pig
cute, Kenyon.
Hold
You're
I,
on.
very cute.
I hate when he
Very
say he's
cute.
ugly cute or something like that. Like that pisses me off that he does.
Pisses
That's
me
you
off.
saying that.
Is
Did
Does
that
that-
someone
your
come up to you and
insecurity?
tell you you are so ugly? Did they pull a Suge Avery on you?
No, because
You
here's the thing. I swing. I fight. Like I joke, but I'll fight. I swear to God, I would. But
What, somebody called you ugly?
nah,
Ain't nobody call Kenya ugly. He gets plenty
You
of
know,
women.
black families, you can't grow up
Plenty.
cute because your family will call you
Whoa.
ugly. At least my
Yeah,
family
they
will.
will.
Shut up.
My family will too. My family will definitely call
Oh, you
somebody
think you
ugly.
cute now? You still ugly?
Or fat? They let you know you don't get
But
Bad.
you know,
What
growing
they
up
say,
in
that
St.
is
Louis,
not a
Can we
greeting.
talk about that? Because why do older black people feel like they have to comment on your body?
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know.
I had to like snap on my family members plenty of times because you fat. Oh, you bigger than the last time I see you.
Yeah.
But you fat too.
Yeah, like
So here we are.
You fatter than me. Like, what the hell?
be like your
How
mom.
you bigger than me talking about me? Like,
I'm the only one sitting here with
Listen.
no high blood pressure or diabetes.
Okay, no high cholesterol.
Where them socks at? Go get your good compression
first
socks.
of all, what is
Ooh, not the
diabetes? I thought it was
compression
called
socks.
sugar.
Sugar.
Diabetes.
It's not called sugar.
The
I could
sugars.
definitely.
Y'all diabeticals.
Diabolicals.
Hey, go get the gangrene.
Right. So, I think I asked everybody that question. So, we're gonna get into something now. Y'all might enjoy this one. So, we're gonna start talking about relationships, healthy relationships. So, just in general, I don't go nowhere. Y'all good? Just in general, how many healthy relationships have y'all seen? You know, in general, if you're working through a relationship, still cool, whatever. Y'all working towards health. All right, so 0. All right, so that's you answered
I
it.
ain't got none. I don't got none under my belt.
I'll say 2.
You
3.
see 2, 3. Okay.
I've seen a lot of relationships, but just because you've seen them doesn't mean they're healthy. Like my parents been together for 40 plus years. Like they just hit their 40th anniversary. And it's things that I've watched them go through growing up that I will never take into my marriage. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I get married, husband, come find me. However,
Right.
but it ain't no such
Look,
thing.
wait a minute. Hold on. Sorry to cut you off. Ain't none of my friends watching this are husband quality. All right, go ahead. Keep going.
Quality, but we
Keep
can
going.
try together.
Huh?
No, we not. No,
Excuse me?
we ain't doing
I
that.
said,
No.
are they cute at least?
We
I'm
can
not-
try together.
Look, I'm not never calling another man cute. I'm gonna be like, he all right. So
Bye.
he all right.
He
Yeah,
ain't
if
no
they
good.
watching, he all right. But go ahead, go for it.
But it's no such thing to me. Like everybody has faults. Everybody has things that they can improve on. Like the thing is really that you got to work for it every day. If that's what you want, then you got to work for it. There is no, like, of course I want to be married and I want to spend somebody, like I would love to be together 40 years. You know what I'm saying? They've been married 40 and have all my kids be by one man. Well, that's kind of out the window at this point. But you know, whatever.
I
I feel.
think.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, look, my bad, girl. I think when it comes to healthy relationships, I think it just depends on what you define as healthy. But I think for myself, it's moving in a relationship with intention. Because when you love and care someone about them, you, in my opinion, you should be intentional with it. So I feel like as long as both parties are intentional in the way that they treat the other person, the decisions that they make that can affect the whole, you know, I think that's what healthiness looks like to me, when both partners can be intentional with one another.
Shot.
Okay, Shanae, I see you.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Brittany, go for it.
I don't know. It's hard because, like she said, it just depends on what you think is healthy. Or like, I think every relationship goes through hard patches and everything. So you have to just be able to work through that. Like, you know, people have different personalities, and you know, you have moments where it's going great, and then you have other moments where it's not. Like, so you just have to work through all those hard times. But as far as me seeing healthy relationships, I mean, I come from a family of single moms. Like I have never, there's like one aunt and uncle that are married. that I've seen. So it's hard for me. So I think a part of my life is hard. It's been hard for me to like understand relationships because of that. Like the women in my family are so strong when it comes to like dealing with men. They just immediately cut them out. And I'm not trying to be that way. Like I'm trying to be better than they are because they're so like just cut off anything that when it immediately goes wrong. But I've also had my traumas in life too when it comes to dating men that it makes it hard for me to date. So it's a lot. Like it just depends on the person and how much you want to work for it.
You're
I feel like for me, I can say I've personally never seen like a healthy relationship. Like my parents was probably the most toxic thing that I've ever seen. And even though my grandparents have been together for like 60 years, they hate each other.
oh, this man
And
trying to pay y'all. Y'all not going to acknowledge it
I
real
my
quick.
cash app is no, I'm just playing. Unless you can,
So
that's
Go ahead.
just
I'm
me.
sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway,
oh,
but like seriously, I feel like even though I try my hardest to actively not get in those situations, I find myself trying to fix people. And I feel like a lot of women get trapped in that, and it's hard as I try not to be in a situation like, of course, I want to be in a situation with somebody who's already healed and this and that, and we can just come together and have like this healthy relationship. But I always find myself with broken people and me trying to heal them and fix them, and but it ends up being detrimental to me. And I can honestly say I've never been in a healthy relationship, not what I would consider a healthy relationship at least. Um,
Alexis, you got anything?
Okay, so my I come from a two-parent home, very loving two-parent home. But I find that most people in my life don't have the same experience. I literally got teased growing up because people said that my family was like the real life Cosby's or whatever. So, but that was like a mark, like that was considered like a bad thing. And like people, if they found out my dad was in the home, they were shocked. And then my dad was like the one who picked us up from school. He was the one that cooked. He was the one that taught me how to cook. And so at one point, my school thought he was a single parent, and they were shocked that I had my mom in the home too. Everything. So I had a good upbringing because my parents were very honest, I guess, about and united, I would say. They were a good example as far as one, you will not and do not try to ever come in between this relationship, try to play one against the other. My dad was um my dad was a cop and now he's a psychotherapist. My mother's a doctor. But when my dad made less than my mom, I never saw him intimidated by that. And I never saw my mom treat him less than. My dad, he was like very protective of my mom. Like, that's my wife. No one, not even you. Like, you kids, no, this my wife type of thing. To my mom, my dad was the head of the home. And, no one was intimidated. No one, so that's the experience that I had. Now, the choices that I made were different, but I think the choices that I made, why they never worked out, is because I did have a standard. I did have a dad and my dad was very blunt with me too. He gave me a lot of game when it came to men and everything. So I honestly got told a lot of times that I acted more like a man in the relationship than anything, which that bothered me for a while. But yeah, I tended to be attracted, wanted to fix. I see broken, I want to fix. And so I've had to learn things like boundaries, like keeping you in the friend zone and understanding that you aren't my assignment. You aren't, God didn't put me in this position to be fixing you. That's his job, not mine. So I had to come to that. My dad taught me something that he passed on to me and my friends. He said, a lot of people, you thinking they're in love. You get in these relationships, you think you're in love. He said, and what you don't understand is you're in habit. He said, it's just like a drug. It's not about even love. You've just been with them and you've developed a habit. And what happens when you try to break that habit, You know what I'm saying? You start going through the withdrawals, you start having all these symptoms. He was like, so one, you need to recognize the difference between love and habit. And then boundaries are important. But I don't know. What was the question?
Oh, we
Girl.
were just talking about healthy relationships. So,
Oh, and I will tell y'all this. I know I'm long-winded, but like I had that example with at my parents, but then on the flip side, my grandparents. Now they were together almost 70 years, I think. And yeah, that was toxic. They shouldn't have been together as long as they were. I heard the men talking. My grandparents were the situation where my grandfather had just as many kids outside, with other women that he had with my grandmother and everything. And so watching the journey, he used to put hands on her. Just watching their whole journey, that did something to me and affected me because I was so determined I don't ever want to be like that. And I think when you're so focused on I don't want to be like that, it's like you almost start being like that, like that self-fulfilling prophecy type of thing. And so, yeah, Mississippi.
hey, yo, like,
That's where my people
Kid,
from.
what, you feel attacked?
It was
Do
Mississippi.
you feel
huh?
attacked? Good? You feel
No, I
attacked?
come from a legacy of horrors. But go ahead, keep going.
But no, I was just saying that towards the end, my grandmother, she stayed with my grandfather until he passed away. But by the end, he had apologized, asked her forgiveness and everything. Now, I personally don't think, well, I know I couldn't have stayed with him all that time, but to be able to see them like the way they were before he passed, like meant everything to me. And just to see my grandmother at peace with joy and all that kind of stuff. Now, could I have done it? No, but
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Our uncles, though. But Brittany, Brittany.
I mean, I already said my little piece, but I do feel like I feel what she was saying. Like I've been in my own abusive relationships, and I'm the same way with everyone else here. I've been in situations where I'm always feeling like I give so much of myself that the person doesn't give the same love to me, and it crushes me. And it takes me a while for me to get over that. So once I finally get over it, it's just like another layer, another brick on top of the bricks that I've been built over time, So it's hard again to constantly fight that and try to think past like, damn, is this situation going to happen again? Am I going to be in another abusive relationship? Because I love so hard, I love so hard. And I don't know, it's just things you have to work through, and something that I'm constantly aware of. Another insecurity that we talked about earlier of mine is that I'm just trying to always not give too much of myself, but I always end up doing it. So it's like, damn, cycles. Trying to break them.
All right. So Erica, I saw you said you've seen like 3 healthy relationships. Like, but what is your like opinion on healthy relationships, and what does that mean to you?
To me, I think a healthy relationship doesn't mean that it's void of issues. Just like you can have a healthy body but still have back knee. Like, there's still, something that's you is healthy doesn't mean perfect. It just means it's operating in optimal functionality. Like you're not necessarily like you don't have any trash running. You have that, there's a human nature into it. The 3 relationships that I saw were healthy was, well, number 1, me and my best friend in the whole wide world. Most of these relationships that I'm gonna mention are not romantic. I've never had a healthy romantic relationship, but that's all one thing. So yeah, me and my best friend, that's healthy. My best friend and her husband's relationship is healthy, and it's a blessing being able to see a young Black couple doing things right. Because you don't get to see that often. They weren't intimate before they got married. They, did everything in the church, like everything, like they did everything so smoothly, to where even when they did have problems, they were still able to, it still worked. And so now they're able to reap the benefits of that in their marriage.
That's a good man, because I'm not being
Yeah.
pure. I'm touching somebody, but go ahead, keep going.
You want to hell, Hood? Stop.
Two
Stop.
times, but go ahead.
And
Cut it out.
then the third one I would say will be my pastor and his wife. And yeah, like I hear a lot of people say when talking about relationships, it's like you never know what's happening in the background. But I think in some ways, if you look closely enough, you can see what's happening in the background manifested in the front in the foreground. And so I just don't think we pay attention enough, or but yeah, that's just what I think. Speaking on relationships, I'll say that another one of my insecurities, our time together, is that I was married at 19 and I got divorced when I was like 21. And so now being 28 and I'm, single and, I don't got no prospects, I'm almost 30, there's that whole like, Lord, what we doing? Did I waste my one chance? Did I waste it?
Right.
And so that's something that I have to combat on top of, not being cool. I,
You
had
gotta
that
cut
whole
that out.
experience when I was still a babe, and so, yeah. And I also, speaking of relationships, I think we have this surface view or idea of what a relationship is supposed to be like. And so we don't do the work as individuals, and we don't want to do the work when you get with somebody who, and because we don't understand what relationships are like. I understand how our grandparents stood together for all of those times. Like, not to say that it's the easiest thing to do, but like I still care about my ex-husband, and we broke up like a long time ago. So when you have that genuine love for someone, I truly believe that love endures all. And so yeah, it's gonna be trash for a while, and that's not to say that you should, I get it. So.
All right. So, Danae,
Do we ask another question? I'm sorry. Did I miss something?
no, we still talking about the healthy relationships. We still in there.
Oh, okay. 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 So what I said earlier, being and having intention with someone in the relationship, that, and also
Did I already ask you? I'm sorry. I
you
apologize.
did.
I did. I didn't ask Z, huh? I feel like you be
She even
fading
had
to the
her
back.
hand raised.
She had her hand up. Z, my bad. Go ahead.
She had her
I'm,
hand raised and everything, and you called
I'm
her somebody
sorry.
else.
It's
Look,
okay.
man, I'm trying to like feel through the comments and everything. Like, I'm a one man show over here.
But I kind of forgot it. But no, I remember it. Sorry. My question was really more so as like, how do the women feel like when it comes to viewing and being in healthy relationships? Do they feel like they're trying to break generational curses in their families, and does that play a part and tie into like their insecurities? Because I know sometimes for me, especially being a single mother, like that's a big thing for me. My parents, like I said, have been together 40 plus years, and here it is, I'm raising my child by myself. Like his father's active or whatever, but it's still me and my son, and we don't have the same last name. Like, so I just be wondering, am I feeling weird because, like, do other women think the way that I think? Because you don't know. Sometimes you get in your own brain about things and you be like, okay, maybe I'm tripping, or do those values still matter to other women?
I think they do.
Yeah.
I for sure think they do. I'm with you on the breaking generational curses thing. Like, it's so crazy how like generational curses really have a bound on us, like, and how it's so hard to break. You try so hard to go against things that's happened to your family members in the past, and you just end up doing the same things. Like, it sucks. Like, every time you turn around, it's like, damn, I thought I was going to do something different, and you fall into that same trap. So I definitely agree. I'm with you on that. I think about that all the time, even in my life. I'm single. I don't have any kids or anything, but I still fight with myself often on trying to break those curses that my family, my relatives, and like forefathers and everything has put on me. Because it's like, damn, it's hard. I think a lot of my generational curse is with dealing with relationships, like just dealing with people in general. I feel like that's a part of my curse to overcome that.
I would agree with that. On like, I see what you're saying in my point of view from that. I thought at one point I was like breaking generation curses. I'm going to do these things and until I realized, oh wait, no, I didn't. That's not what I was doing. Like I was doing my own thing, thinking I was trying to do that. But then I realized that for me at least, I think my one of the things that slashed onto my family is people not living their life the way that they want to live their life. And when I stepped into that, I noticed just how fast God has been working in my life. And so for me, I think it's really doing what in this life that you want to do is my curse that I'm needing to like, mend and whatnot. But for me, I think that's what that is.
Okay. So look, man, I thank y'all so much. This has been a great conversation. So we're gonna lighten it up a little bit. Toxic traits. What are they? And are you willing to admit them? Like, do you have them? Are you trying to like actually work towards fixing your toxic traits? Like I can volunteer to tell mine, but y'all, if you know me, you kind of already know me. So let me see.
I think
why should they cover your face?
Come here and say what?
Why should they cover her face when you start talking toxicity? Like, I want
to listen. I'm not a toxic person. I don't think so.
That's my best friend. She be.
First of all, right, so we're friends, Kenyon. I'm not. Look, I used to be a very toxic person, but I am working on it. Okay,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've seen the growth in Shanae, so it's been.
But look, you didn't know me. You did not know me when I was married, and I used to do the most toxic things to my ex-husband, and it wasn't like intentional, but like as I
matured.
Yeah, that word.
Matured? You can't say mature. It's mature.
Right, thank you. I hate when people try to sound educated and be mature.
But it's me though. Everybody know I'm uncultured.
You can't say mature until you turn 56. That's when you can say mature.
That's very
I feel it. Look, I'm getting 100%, so
you ain't
physically
56.
I'm 56.
I didn't say 56%. 56 years old.
But really, I realized that like unintentionally, I was doing things that would definitely be viewed as toxic. Like, for example, we didn't fight a lot, but when we did and he did something that I didn't like, I would go for days and I wouldn't speak to him. And I realized how manipulative it was because I was basically trying to get him to do what I wanted by not speaking to him. And now, 5 years later, dealing with somebody doing that to me. And I'm like, oh, this is some bullshit. I don't have time to deal with this. And now I had to like hit him up and apologize. Like I was on some BS and I'm sorry. And I didn't do it to be toxic, but I see how it was. And I think that was probably like one of my biggest things. Now I'm like trying to work through all of the other things that I be doing. But I don't think that I'm toxic like intentionally.
Got you. Z. I know you're yelling at Gabe right now, but go ahead.
I wasn't yelling at him. He's trying to be quiet and doesn't realize I had the mic muted.
What's good, Gabe? How you doing, bro?
He went back down the hallway.
All right.
Honestly, I don't think that I ever had toxic traits because not towards others, maybe within myself, but not towards others because I've always been a people pleaser or treating people the way I wanted to be treated in hopes that they would treat me the way that I wanted to be treated.
But even being a people pleaser is low key toxic though, because it's just like.
I mean, it definitely can be, but you know, I stand strong on my boundaries. You know, of all people that I got a line.
Yeah.
It is going to, my toes will touch that line and I will go no more. Like I'm not stupid. I'm not a fool. But I think it's more so I've been toxic towards myself, not to other people. And honestly, that's worse. Because again, it's setting yourself up on a path that you can't maintain and you can't keep that long term. It may feel good for a moment that, oh, you made this person happy, but in the long run, you're hurting yourself because you're not making yourself happy. And it's nobody's responsibility to make you happy. Like I was recently told that I need to find what makes me truly happy instead of trying to make other people happy.
I'm in the same boat right now. Like going through therapy and like talking and stuff. Like like Alexis and Shanae know for a fact. Like I've hit them up and asked them questions like, "Yo, what does this mean? What does this mean? Like this shit is stupid." But yeah, so yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. So
I've been in therapy off and on since like before therapy was the in thing and cool thing to do. Like I remember going to therapy and back in 2004. Hell, in middle school, my teacher told my parents I needed counseling. So I'm not new to counseling, but sometimes like counseling is only as beneficial if you're going to put in that work that comes with the counseling. And sometimes it takes you having to go through something very traumatic for you to realize, like, okay, maybe, like, yeah, I've been doing the work, but I ain't really been doing the work.
mm-hmm.
So,
anybody want to answer that question? I'm sorry. Did anybody want to answer that question
I
real
want
quick?
to answer.
I do want to answer
I'm
that.
laying. So
Go for it.
I personally do not have any problem with emotional men. I think that men, especially Black men, have always been criticized for like expressing themselves in a healthy way, and especially in a relationship, would want for the person that I'm with to be able to be emotional and be vulnerable with me. So that's my answer. I don't have a problem with it at all.
No, I think it's necessary. And I think men who think they're not emotional are actually the most emotional men. I actually think men are way more emotional than women. And so this
I be crying.
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Zero shit. I be crying.
That's a
I ain't gonna
strong
cry in
level of
front of
growth.
y'all. I'm not gonna cry on live.
Oh, you be crying in the car though? It's cool.
Always.
So I personally, I think that they should. I
Mhm.
think that we, from when boys are little, well, men are boys, that this whole man up, you're not supposed to cry and everything. So what you're doing is you're teaching these men not to express their emotions, not to in a healthy manner and everything, suppress it, and you're not giving them instruction. So then these boys grow up to be these men who don't know how to handle their emotions, who don't know what to do in a healthy manner. And so then when something pushes them across a certain line, that's when you have these murder suicides happening. You have women getting abused, and you have, them harming themselves and different things because they weren't allowed. They got suppressed when they were little. Now I will tell my friends, and I tell my husband all the time, I'm an old school woman. Like I am typically very old school, but I still, I think a man should have the freedom to express himself.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I didn't mean be around here blubbering and crying and not getting up off the floor and handling your business. I didn't mean that. Again, I am old school, so I need you to get up, handle business. But I do believe that men should have the same space, the same, be allowed the way we're allowed to express ourselves and be emotional. Get it out your system. Do it. I'd rather you do that than next thing you know, you hitting me upside my head, or they say the slow singing and flower. What would Martin say about that?
It's gonna be some slow singing and flower breaking.
Yeah, like for real.
It's like
I agree with that because I feel like you saying emotional men, like as long as they know how to handle their emotions, I'm okay with it. Because again, coming from an abusive relationship, I was with a man who didn't know how to handle his emotions. He would blow up, do something crazy, and then he'd cry and try to say, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Emotional abuse.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as long it's okay to be emotional. I think that's very healthy for everybody. Everybody's emotional. We're humans. We're supposed to show emotions. But I think everybody, including females too, we all need to know how to manage that and like channel it in a healthy way.
That's the key right there, because I think a lot of men, I think a lot of times it's easy to get in a space where you're like, I'm just trying to be emotional, but no, you want to be coddled. And it's like the same way that women you have to go through life with your emotions and still like deal with reality. I feel like men you have to understand that there's a way to express your emotions. And I think you said it, Alexis, that you have to like emotional intelligence.
Yes.
You said something, along the definition of emotional intelligence. You still got to do life. You still have a role to play. Life doesn't stop just because you got this emotion. I think that's something that women, understand very well, because we have to, that's our life. But an emotional man, bring your emotions. I think if you can't be emotional with a woman that you're romantic with, then do you really trust that woman? So Yeah,
I
emotional
mean,
man, like that's cool.
I'll
I
speak for myself. Like as a, I am an emotional man. Like I know this for a fact, but it took me a while to actually realize that. Like even when emotion is like exuding love for somebody, it took me to realize. It took me a long time to realize that if I love somebody, it took me a long time to like be like, yo, I actually love this person or whatever, and then I'll do the exact opposite of showing this person that I love them,
Cause you
and
scared.
I'll like, yeah, terrified. But but yeah, like as a man, like it's hard. So I appreciate y'all, man, like for real. So this has been a great night. But I got one more question so we can wrap this thing up. What advice would you give to any of the younger black women on how to navigate this whole entire thing, whether it's in and out of uniform? What advice would you leave with them? So I'm gonna start with Alexis.
Um, I don't know, Ken. Shucks.
Just give them something, something.
Um, Stay true to you. Stay true to you. Don't be coerced into becoming anyone you are not. Be comfortable in your own skin and don't be afraid to be great. I think that a lot of us are held back because of what we think people are going to think, what we think they're going to say, how they're going to respond, how they're going to react. Don't be afraid to be great. Just go for it and live your life with no regrets.
Shanae.
Be fearless.
She stole what I was gonna say. So I was just gonna say,
Thank you,
you know,
Brian, bro. I
just
appreciate your question. So
hop around.
there.
But I was just gonna say, just be authentic to yourself. You know, it's hard out here being a woman, and especially a black woman, and you know, you can't please everybody. So just be true to yourself, and if they don't like you or they don't like what you're doing, it does not matter. Um, just be yourself, pretty much.
Danae.
I think for me, it goes back to what Shanae and Alexis were saying. Be true to yourself. That's something that I wish someone told me, was to continue to be true to myself. Don't think you have to assimilate. Don't think you have to be a certain way to, to get people to like you. If they don't like you, they don't like you. As long as you get, your job done, then like, if we're talking military wise, then like, all right, you don't have to care for who I am as a person because I'm coming here and I'm doing what I have to do. So for me, it's stay true to yourself. Like stay true to yourself. Go to the beat of your own drum, girl, because there's only one you and it's freaking perfect. Perfect. You don't have to change.
All right, Z.
I would tell them it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be a jack of all trades, because I know the saying says the jack of all trades, a master of none, but the rest of that saying goes, the jack of all trade is a master of none, but it's better than being the master of nothing. So be adventurous. Never be afraid to try something new, even if you're going to fail. Never be afraid to fail, because you're going to find a lesson in that failure. Um, and just pray and be faithful. Always have grace. Be a lady. Be you. That's it. Like,
All
that's how you
right,
can.
got you. Britt. Yes, Erica, you got to close it. But go ahead, Brittany.
Um, I agree with everything the lady said. The one thing I would add is to don't let anyone steal your light. Like, you are powerful. We're powerful. Like, being a black woman is powerful. And people don't understand that, our power sometimes. So don't let anyone change you or make you lose, you dim your light for them. Just keep shining, keep going. Don't let them change your character. Just be yourself and just keep moving.
All right, E, what you got?
All right. This is what I'll say. Um, to develop yourself as a woman first and foremost, because I think that is most important. It's much easier to do that as a younger woman than it is to do that as you get older, because you have more grace when you're younger. People are more willing to work with you when you're younger. Find a woman who has something that you want, not even necessarily physical. I do that everywhere I go. They be black, you know, I be finding black women, but like find a woman to put yourself under and do what she does in your own way. Ask her questions, figure out what works, present yourself to her authentically, and let her teach you and be teachable. That's another one. Another thing that I'll say is to find yourself a strong man to put yourself under, because there's certain things that a woman can't teach a woman, and a man will see things that a woman can't see. Put yourself under the authority. That's another one. Learn how to respect authority. Not even I wouldn't even say that being submissive is not a bad thing. It's just the way literally nobody in the world lives under their own authority. You're always under the authority of somebody else. So yeah, develop yourself as a woman. Put yourself under a woman that you find, that you can emulate. Put yourself under the authority of a strong man and listen to him and respect, and be a respectable, like somebody else said. Be a lady. Be teachable. Be malleable. That's what a woman is. So be soft. You don't have to be aggressive. It's okay.
All right. Z.
I got one more thing, and find your tribe. It is nothing more important than finding your tribe, because I tell you, baby, you're going to go through. It's okay to have more than one tribe, because you're going to have your turn up friends. You're going to have your professional friends. You're going to have the ones that teach you how to be a wife. You're going to have the ones that teach you how to be a mother. But you got to have a tribe, because you'll never be successful without your tribe. Let me tell you, because it's been days when I couldn't pick myself up, but best believe my tribe was there like, hey, all right, you've been in this too long. Let's get up. Let's figure out a way through this. So you got to have a tribe. And it don't have to just be black women, but you just need a tribe, whether it's men, women, indifferent. You need a tribe. You need your village, because it takes a village, like the proverbs say.
But before you get you a tribe, find you a mentor first. So you your mentor if that tribe is, because
those are synonymous. You need a mentor and a tribe.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Gotta have them.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up this episode 4 of the various Negroes talking. First of all, I just want to thank y'all for coming out here. I greatly appreciate y'all for taking out the time of y'all day on a busy Friday. Like, y'all could be out doing something else. I know you about to go do something else. So so with that being said, man, it's okay not being okay. Your woman is not your therapist, neither is your barber. You know what I'm saying? If you need help, go seek help, go get help.
It's my nail tech. It's my nail tech. My
nail tech and my wax lady are definitely my therapist. I don't care what.
All right, first of all, those people aren't qualified to help you. So
you don't know that.
They be helping. Okay.
Never underestimate a good nail tech, a good wax tech, and
thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Because me and my wax lady, we're already being intimate, so I can't talk to you about my life problems.
Right. Me and the wax lady is like this here.
Listen, you already all up in my shit. So like,
you and my bits and kibbles.
Everywhere. All in it.
You and my kibbles and bits.
Front and back.
So Jesus once said, "Nuck if you buck." So with that being said,
don't do that. Don't do that.
This is your boy Hud signing out. Some various Negroes talking. I appreciate y'all. God bless. Oh, wait a minute. Before we sign out, do y'all have anything y'all want to plug? Whether that's your social medias, anything y'all talking about waxes and stuff, anything you want to plug, a wax lady you want to prefer to anybody before we sign out.
Look, I want to plug myself. I mean, Love. That's simple.
When she be one, I can smell you. Okay. No cap. I'm not saying that because that's my friend.
Go ahead.
Put that in the group chat.
Yeah, put that in the text.
Okay.
Put that in the group chat on Facebook.
All right. So Z, what you got? What you want to plug? Anything?
I ain't got nothing to plug because I'm minding my business. I'm minding the business that pay me.
All right, Brittany, anything you want to promote?
I'm with Z. I ain't got nothing. I'm over here.
All right.
Not yet.
All right, E. Nothing. Alexis, I know you better.
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram, Galadriels _. I said Galad. That's my middle name, y'all. I'm named after the elf queen from Lord of the Rings. So if you need to look that up to spell it, but
Look,
it's
she be cooking.
yeah, I'm a pastry chef. I decided to go to school and make it official. Graduation is soon. But yes, that's what I do. I do desserts. I bake.
And then she right by you. Like,
Listen, I'm finna find her in our group message when this is
Yeah.
over.
Hey, do you ship?
yes.
Things that are shippable, yes.
Yes.
She
First of
definitely
all,
How you
Alexis, who
I
that girl? Yes, I see you.
she definitely sent your boy some cookies. All right,
Yeah.
so Shanae, you got anything you want to plug other than your breaking news that you said earlier?
I don't have anything to plug except for my cash out for old boy earlier.
Go for it. Go
She
for
was
it.
gonna shoot.
Hey, my cash app is sbarlow215. Thank you. I'm trying to go out later, so you know if you want to send me some money for drinks, that's right. Just kidding. I don't have anything to plug for real.
So
But
once
you want to
again, this
follow
is
me
your
on
boy
Instagram?
HUD. Follow me on Facebook at Kenyon Hudson. The vent page V.N.T. also known as Various Negroes Talking, and I'm not changing the name because if you take it off of applications, I
like it.
whatever. So we out here talking. So
You
thank
know,
y'all for
Negroes.
tuning
We
in.
growing.
I appreciate it.
We growing.